The journey begins. So what is the journey? I want to realize my potential in football.
Why?
Why do this journey? Why football? A few years ago, I realized that if money was no object, I'd play football. It's the thing that I like to do the most and the thing that I find the most fun. I also find that progression and striving to improve myself is something that I find deeply meaningful and fulfilling. I want to see what happens when I fully commit myself to something and to see how it feels to be able to say, I couldn't have done any more. I couldn't have trained any harder. That's what I'm striving for. And that's what this journey is all about. So what is this YouTube channel? I want to document and capture my football journey and to share the experiences, mindset, training, and lessons that I learned along the way in the hope that you find them interesting, but more importantly, so that you can apply them to your own journey. And to get cheesy for just one quick second, I'd love it if I was able to inspire people to pursue things that are meaningful to them so they don't have to settle for an okay life, but so they can have a life that they actually want. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is my journey so far. So it's 2023. I haven't just started playing football now. I want to just provide a little bit of background information about where I've come from, where I'm at currently, and where I want to go. My journey so far. Sounds funny to say, but I'm going to go back to when I was a kid. I just played football all the time. So especially when I was in primary school, it was just during lunchtimes, break times. I played for Aquinas Football Club as a kid, and the friends that I had on that team, we would just play football all the time. And then I'd also be playing football with my friends from school. And then football kind of became less a part of my life when I went to secondary school. So that'll be at 11. I went to a rugby playing secondary school, so a school that mainly played rugby. They didn't have any football teams at the time. So I basically just started playing rugby, even though I loved playing football. It was a challenging time for me, especially I had such great friends at Aquinas, and I was no longer going to be spending that much time with them, and I was no longer playing football. And so I started playing rugby, which I actually really loved. And then throughout my childhood, I was just playing every sport under the sun. Playing football, rugby, hockey, tennis, table tennis, badminton, swimming, and ultimately my main sport for the past, let's say 18 years, which was running. So I was part of Lagan Valley Athletic Club for I don't know how long. And yeah, so running was my main sport growing up, but especially after I stopped playing football. I probably chose running to be my main sport because one, I was very good at it, and two, my parents, they were competitive runners. I basically stopped playing competitive football after the age of 11 because I went to the rugby playing secondary school, and then I didn't play competitive football then for a long time. I was still playing football like with my friends. We would do like a lot of we would do a lot of kickabouts. So I was still playing football, but not competitively, and nowhere near as often as I had played it growing up and in primary school. So as I was saying, my main sport was running, sort of through primary school, but definitely through secondary school, competing at a pretty high level, competed for Ireland, and then went on a scholarship to Miami University, which is in Oxford, Ohio. Yeah, had an amazing time there. Was running cross country and track and field, primarily 5K, 10K on the track, and then 8K cross country. So when I was in secondary school, didn't play that much football, just played with friends, kickabouts in the streets or on the pitches. Then went to the States on a scholarship. Again, hardly played football over there. It's much less of a thing, and I obviously wasn't playing competitively. And as my time at Miami came to an end, I started having those realizations that I mentioned earlier, that if money wasn't a thing, I would play football. and realized that it's the thing that I find the most fun. And I was like, why the heck am I not playing football? And so from that point, I started playing football again. I started training, started playing with friends more again, and then ultimately I was looking for teams to join. But that is when COVID was in full effect, really. So I couldn't join a team. I came back from the States to Belfast in December 2020. Started training like hardcore with football, just trying to improve as much as possible, and then basically waiting for flipping lockdown to end so I could start playing with the team again. Sure, you all know lockdown ends. I'm looking for teams, and yeah, there was a team close to me called Queen's Grads who play in 2A of the Northern Ireland Amateur League. So that would be roughly the 5th division of amateur league football in Northern Ireland, and roughly like the 8th league or 8th tier down in Northern Irish football. So it was an all right level. I was there from roughly May or the summer of 2021 to January of 2022. So not a long time. I basically started off on their 3rd team. I honestly thought I could play, I don't know, like their 2nd or 1st team potentially, but I started off training with their 4ths, and then did pretty well there. So went to their 3rds team, and then played basically a summer league, summer tournament over the summer with the 3rds. Did pretty well there again, but wasn't getting progress up to the 2nds or 1sts. Then basically asked over the summer, over pre-season, to train with the 2nds or 1sts. Started playing with the 2nds or 1sts, and the first manager was he was impressed when I started playing with them, and so started playing league games for the 1sts for Queen's Grads, and so progressed as much as I could really at Queen's Grads, and it was a great team to be a part of, great bunch of lads, really welcoming, and some good footballers, but the training was just below, the intensity wasn't very high, and I guess I wanted to be challenged like every day in training, so moved on from there. Started looking at other opportunities, wanted to make my way up the leagues in Northern Irish football. Started looking at other teams and saw that Aquinas, the team that I'd played for as a kid, they were in 1A, no, they were in 1B of the Northern Ireland Amateur League, so that would be 3rd division amateur league in Northern Ireland, or roughly 6th league or 6th tier down in Northern Irish football. So reached out to them, started playing for them, and yeah, it was good. The intensity was higher in the training, felt like I was playing with better players, getting more out of it, improving more as a result. But annoyingly, I think my first session or two, the ones manager didn't think that much of me as a footballer, and so I started playing for the 3rds at Aquinas. So that was frustrating, but I just got on with it, just kept working hard. Played maybe half a season for the 3rds for Aquinas, and then again pre-season came around. Opportunities are abound in pre-season. So in pre-season started playing with the 2nds and started playing with the 1sts. During that pre-season it was weird, the ones manager wasn't really there that much, but I was playing quite well, and the assistant coach for the ones was there. He liked me a lot, and he was playing me during pre-season. Then the ones manager came back. I didn't have a great game. Of the one game of pre-season, he was there, and he was like, he's basically don't really want to see him being a ones player. And then so the season starts. I'm playing for the 2s for Aquinas. This is a lot of detail, but I'm enjoying sharing it, and we'll see if it's entertaining or not. So was playing 2s for Aquinas. Played the first few games of the season, was doing pretty well in the matches, and then the ones manager was speaking to the 2s manager, asking like who's doing well, like we need some players this week for the ones. So got my opportunity to play for the ones for Aquinas, did well and earned my starting spot there, and so became a ones player at Aquinas. and basically played most of the 2022-2023 season with the ones at Aquinas, and then I'm always trying to see if I can get to that next level. And like, part of me is like, you want to be loyal to these teams and like stick around, but like, to reach my potential in football, I've always got to be striving to reach that next level, to play with those higher quality players, because they're essentially going to help me reach my potential. So it's kind of like contradictory, or two like sides battling against each other, but ultimately I want to improve as much as possible. So I'm always looking to play at that higher level. And so because I was playing ones for Aquinas, I could look to take that step up. And one of the coaches at Aquinas, who has helped me out a ton, legend at Aquinas, he knows who he is. He really helped me out and put me in contact with a manager at Newington, who is a championship team in Northern Ireland, which is the second tier of all Northern Irish football, so just one below the top tier. He got me in contact with the manager of Newington, so I tried out pre-season, and yeah, it went pretty well. The manager basically didn't have that high expectation for me coming in, because I was coming in from like an amateur league team. I did well. He said he was impressed that he could sign me, but ultimately I probably wouldn't get that much playing time just based on the personnel that they had at the club already. So I could either be signed by Newington, not play much, or I could look for other opportunities. So basically this was my first opportunity to network with other players, which was pretty cool. So I asked some of the guys at Newington that I'd become friendly with, like, were they aware of any other opportunities or coaches that I could reach out to look to play for or get trials for. And one of the guys helped me out and put me in contact with the manager of Lisburn Distillery. So I reached out to the manager of Lisburn Distillery and asked, just explained being pre-seasoning at Newington, and I played in the position that he was looking for. So like, could I just come down to pre-season training and see how I get on? He was like, yeah, absolutely. So turned up to pre-season training, did all right. Nothing spectacular, and then he was like, yeah, we got a friendly tomorrow, so yeah, turn up and you'll get some minutes. So turn up, not playing the first half, come on at halftime and have a pretty spectacular game. And basically afterwards, he was like, magic, and I mean that, magic. Basically, he was looking to sign me after that. So it was kind of a whirlwind summer of opportunities and trials and stuff. But like, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like, it didn't really work out at Newington, but it just provided me that opportunity for it to work out at Lisburn Distillery. So where I'm at now, I signed for Lisburn Distillery over the summer of 2023, and just like before, it's been full of ups and downs, and this is when I've started to document my journey. And so that's where we're going to kick off with the videos. We're going on this journey, and I'm going to share the experiences, mindsets, training, lessons learned from that point. So welcome aboard, and I hope you enjoy. Speak to you soon. That knife I'm recording. Yeah, it's red. It's red, so we're recording.